Hello, my name is Gator, and in this video I'll be going over the Recon class added in Season 16 and the legends within it. The following will be my thoughts and opinions based on my own personal experiences using these legends and having to fight against them. Starting off, we have Bloodhound. Every class has its own class passive. The Recon classes is access to survey beacons. You can scan survey beacons to reveal all enemy positions for a short time. But while doing this, all enemies can also see you. I do think that every class should have two class passives, similar to Assault and Support. And I believe the Skirmisher class's passive, being able to see what's inside of care packages, should be added to the Recon class, and the Skirmisher class should get something different, in my opinion. But starting off with Bloodhound's passive, he has Tracker. Foes leave behind clues for you to find. White ravens may appear to guide you into battle, and they charge your abilities. You can walk up to these white ravens and interact with them, or you can just use your tactical on them and it will also activate them. Also recharging your tactical. It's fine. It's pretty good. Always being able to see where people have been and what kind of time they've been there is fine. The white ravens are exponentially good at just pointing you to the closest people. His tactical, Eye of the Allfather. You briefly reveal enemies, traps, and clues throughout all structures in front of you. It's a wide array, and it scans everything for you and your team. It's the tried and true, and it is just a really great ability. His ultimate, Beast of the Hunter, transforms you into the ultimate hunter, launching out a white raven, which goes to the nearest player to you, and enhances your senses to see cold tracks, move faster, and knockdowns extend the duration. It also allows for you to see the enemies glowing red, allowing you to track them better with just your eyes. Next, we have Crypto. Crypto's passive is Neurolink. Crypto and his teammates see what his surveillance drone detects up to 30-meter distance. That is a terrible passive, because if it didn't have that, then the drone would be pointless. So I feel like something more should be added to that. It should also be said that he can actually ping the banners that are in like the map showing the players to like show if there any enemies are within any kind of distance around him. I feel like that should be just added on to the passive, since he already does it, to just let you know that that's a thing. His tactical is Surveillance Drone. You deploy a aerial camera that can be remotely interacted with survey beacons, respawn beacons, or even your ally banner cards. So you can pick up banner cards without actually having to like endanger yourself. And it doesn't say here, but you can use the drone to scan the banners that have like other players on them that are throughout the maps to tell you if any players are within a certain area. And I think that'd actually be another cool thing if they just added that to the Recon class passive period for all the other characters. Just ping the banners and see if anyone's within an area. His ultimate, which is Drone EMP, you charge up an EMP out of your drone. You have to have your drone actually deployed. And the blast deals 50 shield damage, no health damage, just shield damage. And it slows players and destroys all traps and gadgets like Watson fences, caustics, the shields on the deployable shields for Rampart. It's over a 50-meter radius. It doesn't tell you that, but it's over a 50-meter radius circle. But in higher ranks, most players are just going to throw off their shields if they see it coming and then just put their shields back on. I think a buff that should be added is it also does 50 damage to the shields that are on the ground or even in death boxes, instead of just only when they're on players, because a lot of players at higher ranks will just toss off their shield, and then once it hits they'll pick it back up and have their full shields without taking their shields any damage. So I think they should add the ability to damage shields when they're on the ground as well, since it can also damage traps like caustic and Watson fences. It will damage you, but it will not damage your allies, but it will slow them. I feel like it's a pretty solid ability, given your team lets you actually get it off. Most teammates will just rush enemies, or they just won't utilize the actual effect of it. But overall, I think he's pretty solid. He did get a rework a while back with his drone, making his drone just easier to use and just better. But I do think he still needs a little bit of adjustments with his ultimate, just making it, that little bit better, allowing it to damage actual shields that are on the ground. Next, we have Seer. Uh, Seer's passive is Heart Seeker. You hear and visualize the heartbeats of enemies within 25 meters while aiming down your sights. You can also do it while not having any kind of weapon in your hand and just having your hands out. In this recent season, they did also nerf it to where it's no longer constant. It's actually like beating to like a heart's rhythm. It's like boom, 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 instead of just constantly showing. That's also fine. It still tells you if someone's within 75 meters what direction they are. It's just not constantly allowing you to just hold it on them as accurately. His tactical, which is focus of attention, you summon micro drones that emit a delay blast that goes through walls and interrupts and reveals enemies. This reveal, unlike bloodhounds, shows you their exact location, what their health is, what their shields is, and it also interrupts them. So if they're trying to heal or revive, or even interacting with scan beacons or control consoles, it will also interrupt them. Also, if they're interacting with something like a Sheila turret, it knock them off of it. Can be very useful. It's very narrow, but I mean it really has to be, in my opinion, for it to be relatively balanced. Because when he first came out, he pretty much just replaced all Bloodhounds, and even now, I think he's still a more solid pick than Bloodhound. Bloodhound's just really good at just clicking a button and oh, they're there. Uh, his ultimate is Exhibit. You create a sphere of micro drones that reveal the location of enemies moving quickly or firing their weapons with inside of it. It's a phenomenal ultimate. I feel like it's what ultimate should be. An ultimate should have the potential to change the flow of battle, and I feel like his does that one of the best. There is currently a absolutely broken combo right now as of season 16, where you take Catalyst and her ultimate, and then you throw down his ultimate on the one side of it with enemies on the opposite side, and you pretty much just get free wall hacks, and they can't really do anything about it because you can see exactly where they are, and they can't see anything at all. And if they try to push you through Catalyst's ultimate, they're going to have a really bad time, and you're going to see it coming. So right now, that's an extremely powerful combo, which is Seer's ultimate and Catalyst's ultimate while in the middle of a fight. But overall, I think he is as balanced as he's going to get. I don't think they could nerf him anymore and him still be more viable than Bloodhound. I think he is more tailored to what he's actually good at now rather than Bloodhound, because at the time he did replace Bloodhound, but now I feel like they are separated enough to where he is a determined pick over another. Bloodhound's just hit the button, there they are. He's more of actually pinpoint it, and when you do get it, you get more of a reward. And lastly, we have Vantage. Her passive is Spotter's Lens. When you aim down sights with your eyepiece when unarmed or with mid to long range scopes, you can see a bullet drop indicator and see where your shot's going to land, but it also allows you to see what a player is wearing, like their helmets, armor, etc. And whenever you do actually like on PlayStation 5, it's R1 to spot. When you do that, she'll verbally call out what they're wearing. I do wish her passive would be tweaked a little bit and give her the ability to, when she consistently looks at someone through her eyepiece, it will like spot them like a bloodhound spot for like a 2 seconds. Not like her ultimate to where it actually applies a damage buff, just a regular spot. I feel like that would be a nice thing to add to her passive, because other than actually using her sniper rifle, she doesn't have any real recon spotting abilities. Like Bloodhound clicks a button, boom, everyone in front of you is spotted for like 2 seconds or so, or a second or so. You take Crypto, anyone within 30 meters of his drone is just constant spotted, highlighted, like just perfectly. Seer, when he actually does hit someone with his tactical, they are fully spotted. You see exactly where they are, what their health is, what their shields are, what they're doing. And with her, you actually have to hit somebody with a sniper rifle, apply a 15 damage buff, to any incoming damage, and like it lasts 10 seconds, which is solid. It is. But like I think if she was added another way to spot other than just that, I think it could be given to her passive spotting lens. Like let her hold eye contact with somebody for like say 1 to 2 seconds, and boom, they're spotted for like 3. You know, I think that'd be a really good way. Next is her tactical, which is Echo Relocation. She has this little bat named Echo, which you can like tell him to go different directions. You can preset him somewhere in case you want to run later, or you want to reposition to another position. You can like set him somewheres, like take a few shots and then hold down your tactical to just relocate to him. When you do, you get a little second launch jump, similar to an Octane jump pad, to where you can jump a second time. It can help you like change directions or be more accurate with your jump. He can only go out to 40 meters, and you can only use him within 40 meters of him. But I think he's a really good way to get high ground, or even get out of troubles if you actually set him up like beforehand, because he will stay in a location until you get way out of range, and he'll come back to you. And even if you say, "Oh, I don't want him there no more," you can actually just press the tactical button again, and he'll just change positions to wherever you tell him to. Her ultimate, which is Sniper's Mark, you use a custom sniper rifle to mark enemy targets, which applies a damage bonus, which is 15% for you and your team. That's pretty solid. The damage of the sniper rifle is 50, and then if you hit them again, it'll go up to 100. It's 75 on headshots. Your teammates, they're only getting the regular 15% damage bonus. You get 15% as well if you just switch weapons and hit them with something else. One thing I really don't like is the fact that it puts out this really bright, very noticeable laser. Like, none of the other sniper rifles do that, and all the other ones hit considerably harder. Like, I get that the sniper technically has infinite ammo because it'll keep recharging over time, and you can have a maximum of 5 rounds in a mag. And it is very useful for hitting someone, boom, they're spotted for 10 seconds, and they have a 15% damage buff added to them, so they're taking more damage. But I don't feel like that's like should just have just the brightest laser, because like if you're trying to use her ultimate to actually snipe at somebody who doesn't know you're there, as soon as that red laser passes them for you to line up that shot, they're immediately going to know exactly where you are and what you're doing. And I feel like I don't feel like an ultimate should ever have a detriment to you. I feel like there can be high risk, high reward ultimates, but I don't feel like the ultimate should just, be just terrible. And it's not a terrible ultimate by no means. It's a great ultimate. If you're actually hitting your shots, it does really well, and it has good synergy with your teammates. If they're paying attention, actually fighting, you can actually put on some really good damage really quickly. Granted, with the chunkier legends, the 15% damage buff is just going to give them normal. They're just going to take normal damage. But I really don't think the laser is necessary. Or if you are going to add a laser, cut down the range in which it reaches by like a good amount, because like it entices you to snipe at long range, but then as soon as you try to, they're just going to see the laser because it's very noticeable. I mean, I've gotten plenty of good shots on people who obviously see the laser but can't really do anything about it. But more times than not, as soon as I aim at them, they see the laser and immediately duck for the closest cover possible before I even take my first shot. And I do think that is a problem. Either shorten the laser or make it just non-existent. Like, I don't really get it. Like, the Sentinel does 70 damage a pop and doesn't have a giant bright laser. The Kraber does like 140 a pop and also doesn't have a giant bright laser. I feel like there are other sniper rifles that just hit really hard and very accurately and don't have giant bright lasers. Granted, they don't spot you for your team, but and add a damage buff, but I don't feel like there's a fair trade-off. Is the giant bright laser for a 10-second spot, or at least the buff, the 15% more damage at least lasts for 10 seconds. I think the spot lasts for almost that. But I think just without the laser, I think it'd be more solid. I think you see a lot more advantages actually playing if you didn't have the giant bright laser. Another thing, if you're going to keep the giant bright laser, is if you hit somebody and there's, say, another enemy within 5 meters of them, something small, make them also spotted for the same time. Not, not necessarily adding the damage buff, but if they also got spotted, that would also give her more ways to spot rather than specifically hitting somebody. Because in a perfect world, if you have 5 shots maximum, and you're fighting a trio, you can only spot them 5 times maximum in that confrontation, unless it just lasts a absurd long time, or if you have a bunch of ultimate accelerators. I feel like that's one of the things that just holds her back is her limited ability to spot compared to other recons, and the fact that her ultimate gives away her position and potentially her team's position to unknowing uh, players. Because I mean, if the idea is you use it while they know you're there, once again that just tells them when you're actually aiming. So then they're just gonna, hit the gas and just move as erratically as possible and make it as difficult for you, while also taking shots at you. So you become a detriment to your team if that's the case, unless you are on mouse and keyboard and can just click heads like that. But sticks here, so not that guy. But yeah, as long as it didn't have the laser or added a secondary way to spot people, I think it would be a good, because like having a third weapon, especially a long range weapon, adds a lot more variety to a game. But adding that gigantic bright laser that every time you go to line up a shot, they just immediately see that and duck the opposite direction, I feel like that's a detriment. But other than that, I feel like the ability to move is really good, and if they did add the ability to spot with the actual lens, I think it'd be really good. But thank you. That's all the legends in the Recon class. Thank you for watching.